Anyway, on to our next conversation. I know that this is something that Dirty Dan and RJ really wanted to talk about, so I'm gonna let y'all kind of take this one off. We'll start off for RJ with this conversation. Let's talk about heel Gable and how do you feel about his character coming along and being a heel? Seems like you guys are real excited for this one.
I hate
I
him.
love it. I love it. I
So
love
good.
it.
RJ, go
First of
off.
all, attacking Sami Zayn, who is the beloved babyface, by ripping him out of his wife's loving arms after that match was flawless. But going out on that live stage and berating the beloved Alpha Academy, give me more of this. I want this every week. That was because I'm like, well, I assumed that they're doing the Creed brothers team up. I'm hoping they do that because those guys are really good. Chad's really good. That's a great stable together. But I didn't expect him to come out and look at poor Tozawa in the eyes and call him a failure. I didn't expect him to look at the pretty Princess Maxine and call her dumb as rocks. And then to look at my big beefcake Otis and call him his biggest failure. I was heartbroken. And then he made them all in unison agree to help him get the...
Nasty
I
work.
love him.
I love it.
He had one real full segment, and I'm convinced he's the worst person on the planet. I love him. I want every week. If we're not getting Gunther IC every week, I need him every week to just talk shit to everybody. Because first of all, he's this tall. Like, how dare you say anything to anybody? But the way he said it, I'm just like, oh, you're a dick. Oh, I like that.
He might be that small, but I seen him suplex some big motherfuckers. Right?
Yeah.
You ain't lying. He's thrown me around the ring twice. It got like a sweat. But I love it. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it because he was a comedy character. So it's
I agree.
The first thing you're thinking is he's gonna do comedy heel stuff, and that would have broke my heart because he's so good. But this, like, I'm serious. You guys have to lock in mentality. I'm in. I'm fully into it. I want it. I want more of it. I want it every week. I wanted to win the IC title. I wanted to lose the IC title and win a world title. I love this game so far. I love it.
Dirty Dan, you want to add anything to that? I feel like you love it too, huh?
No, it's perfect.
Okay.
He's done everything perfectly. The whole berating, beating down Sammy in front of his wife. But the berating took it over the top.
Facts.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's that Kurt Angle mentality when Kurt finally snapped that. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't the little goody two shoes. You know, he was. I feel like he's going to turn into the wrestling machine kind of a guy. He's just going to start beating people's asses. What's going to wind up happening? Him and Otis are going to have a feud. We already know this is going to happen. Because Otis is going to eventually just snap the hell out.
Yeah.
And not take it no more. Maybe that's where you said, like you said, RJ, though, that's when the new faction comes in with the Creed brothers. But keep this going. This is perfect.
Perfect.
Let him win a title. I don't care which title it is.
Facts.
But if he keeps doing this, give it to him because they screwed him before. Then he turned a little baby face. They still didn't want to give it to him. Now he ain't doing the sure shit no more and everything like that. Give it to him, bro.
I'll be honest, I was a little hurt. I was throwing my little 2 cents for passing off to Michi Black. I actually starting to like Sami Zayn a lot. So yeah, you know, like after watching the whole WrestleMania thing, you know, I was a Sami Zayn hater, you know, obviously, but man, like watching all that breakdown, I kind of want to see more Sami Zayn. But go ahead, Michi Black, because I know we touched on him and, you know, Gable going through his family and whatnot. I was kind of disappointed, but go ahead.
I'm gonna say this. Still to this day, fuck Sami Zayn. I don't like him. I will never like him. He's overrated as hell. I am happy.
Shout out Sammy.
We love Sammy.
I'm happy Chad Gable destroyed him in front of his wife. Because I will look at her and say, is this your man's? Is this your man?
Is this your man, Eddie?
I will look at her and whooped his ass in front of her 10 times harder. Just so you know. I don't like saying. I'm so happy Chad did it, man. Chad Gable, if I could give you an award, I'll make you a statue outside your house right now. That was great.
Man. I can't wait until Chad suplex Ricochet, bro.
You're crazy. We're not going to
wait.
Like a pancake.
Poor Ricochet got thrown into this just because Michi Black likes him.
Oh
Nah, for
my
sure.
god, it's
Ospreay.
crazy.
Get him out of here.
I'm telling you, Chad Gable though, I definitely agree with Danny.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Chad Gable needs a title though. Like what he's doing right now is absolutely
Yeah,
amazing.
if he keeps
Like
going the way he's going, yeah.
and
But-
like don't give him no bullshit run either when he gets a title. Like if he gets a title, like let him have at least 3 months. I could deal with 3 months. If he does great in these 3 months, we go farther. If not, he loses it. No harm, no foul.
Mhm.
I like
think
that.
that-
I think you eventually like the problem with the world heavyweight title right now is that it doesn't feel that important, but it is still technically a world title. I don't know if they put that belt on him even when he gets like to the whether or not he does a Creed brother thing or not, right? But could you just imagine heel Chad Gable with heel Creed brothers and just that iconic image of Team Angle, but with Chad Gable's world heavyweight champion and the Creed brothers as tag team champions? Oh, that is a dominant little squad you
I would
got
say
there.
a little
'cause-
faction right there.
Oh, I
Mhm.
love that idea. I don't know if they'll do it because they're kind of, they're iffy with after the bloodline stuff. So it's like I don't know
Mhm.
how fast they're gonna do the whole faction dominant thing. But I think because of how like the characters are, no matter how heel they are, you don't have to do a 6 month
No.
to a year reign with it.
Mm.
You can get a nice 3 month reign out of those tag titles and that heavyweight title. But yeah, no, I
Yeah.
love this group. They are phenomenal. Or not
I
this group.
love
I love heel Gable. It's phenomenal.
Gable, yep. Anything makes you black? Want to add? Nope.
That's
good?
all.
All right, cool. All right, so on to our very last conversation for this episode. We're going to talk a little bit about AEW. Michi Black has been wanting to talk about some AEW, and something happened wonderful.
Hold on. Whose house?
Right here.
Swerve's
Swerve's
house.
house.
What? Hey.
Anyway, so Swerve Strickland won the
Yes, sir.
AEW championship. Congratulations, well deserved. I feel like. Obviously, I haven't watched much AEW, but when I do, he's literally the person I want to watch. When I first started watching AEW, probably a couple months ago, when I first started picking up wrestling, Michi was like, "Yo, this guy Swerve Strickland," and I'm like, "Who that?" And when I saw his personality, I was like, "Oh, I think I might like him." So when I first started getting back into wrestling, he was the first person I started to watch, and I was like, "Oh yeah," like he kind of got me back into wrestling. So to see him get this championship run, I hope it lasts a minute because I do like his character. I like his work ethic. I follow him on Facebook. A lot of people from Harrisburg and surrounding areas know him. I don't know. He's very big in Pennsylvania and has a lot of roots here. Apparently, just a lot of people from Harrisburg were posting pictures of them together. So shout out to Swerve, man. It seems like you have a lot of roots in the city, man. It's super dope to see him succeed. Michi Black, I know you wanted to talk about it, so go ahead and talk about Strickland winning the AEW title.
So I'm gonna say this for my first pay-per-view. In all honesty, my first AEW pay-per-view, this was not that bad. Like no bias, like no, this is honestly not that bad. Like AEW gets a lot of shit online and hate from people online saying like how bad it is and everything. But for what it is, for its own little brand, they're actually pretty good. Their weekly shows, they gotta work on that. But pay-per-view wise, I can sit through it. I legitimately sat through the John twice. And I watched it because the night when I watched on the pay-per-view night, I'm kind of tired. I may miss a couple things. I'm
In
busy.
and out, yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't give out my full opinions because like it might be skewed. But when I watch it the next day, and, like really sit, like it's honestly not that bad. Swerve Strickland, Samoa Joe, phenomenal match. Bryan Danielson, Will Ospreay, that was a crazy match. I don't like Daniel Bryanson in AEW. We don't got to get into it right now,
Yeah, we will
but
later.
I don't like him. Will Ospreay, he's real tough. FTR, am I right, RJ? Or FTR
FTR.
versus Young Bucks, great
Young Bucks.
match. Jack Perry, still hate you. Young Bucks, overrated as hell.
Oh yeah.
Oh, overrated as hell.
Yeah.
I hate, bro. RJ, I'm gonna get to it because you did it, bro.
Don't
when
get to it, but go ahead. Go a little bit.
like
a little
no,
bit. Go ahead. Go ahead. A little
when
bit.
RJ when they did that to beginning, I'm like, oh, this is so corny, bro. So corny.
Oh,
But
man.
it was fine. Like they had, I think about like 6,000 people there. The arena could only fill up like 7,000. Did great. Definitely not like a WWE type feel. But I could sit here and really say I could sit through it in another one.
Dope. Good to hear. But just to focus, just real quick, because I know you want to talk about AEW as a whole, but just strictly Swerve Strickland. How'd you feel about the main event? How'd you feel about him winning the championship? You love it? You hate it? How do you feel about that?
I'm happy that he won the championship. The match was great. Samoa Joe's is actually like a great heel on AEW. I really like that they leading up to this match, they portrayed that Sir Strickland was going to be the next best thing, and I think they made a great move with that. RJ, am I wrong?
Oh no, not even a little bit. There's not a shred of what you said that was wrong.
And I mind you, y'all, this is my first time watching the AEW pay because I haven't watched one, and it's been a while since I watched AEW. So I think what they got right now is good. Tony Khan, like I really think he needs to chill out with the what's wrong for her. He try always like sneak this WWE.
Yeah.
I think we need to cut that out because there's no
play the Eric Bischoff type of vibe.
yeah,
probably,
like I don't think we need to do that right now because you're still trying to grow, and you don't want to build your fan base off of strictly hating the WWE.
Facts.
In my head right now, maybe if y'all on the same level, like you got your selling out 17,000 each week like the WWE, then by means go for it. But to up there and y'all still trying to grow, I think we need to cut that out.
Fair enough. We pass it to RJ. So go ahead, RJ. Go ahead and complete your thought completely.
Fair enough. Though, off of that though, if WWE's gonna keep punching down though, respectfully, I think it's alright they jab up.
That's
but,
true.
I mean,
Yeah.
I hate the tribalism thing because I could not imagine getting back into wrestling and only watching AEW or WWE. I'm trying not to curse.
Yeah.
Love AEW. When I tell you, it got me back into wrestling overall, so I felt a little biased. I am so jealous that Dynasty was your first pay-per-view because holy shit, what a phenomenal show to be your first one. That is definitely, without a doubt, right now my show of the year. I think that was better than Mania for me. I loved it.
Both nights?
Both nights.
Both nights. I'm about to check it out myself.
What AEW does in ring is so good. It's so in depth and so well that a lot of like the biggest thing for people coming in is like, oh, the storytelling isn't really there. It's there. It's not WWE there because WWE has probably like 10 times the writers and have a more theatrical thing to them. But the in-ring storytelling that comes with AEW, so good.
WWE has a formula already. That's the thing. So
it's literally like they say it's where the best wrestle, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's corny. That's just something." It is where the best go to wrestle. Because if you want to watch the best wrestling, and I'm talking no theatrics or nothing, just the best wrestling, it is literally the only place to go. Which is just whether it's a pay-per-view, their week to week, I do agree, is very shaky. One week you'll have FTR versus Bullet Club Gold, one of the best matches I've ever seen. And then the next week you'll have Billy Gunn versus Jay White. I'm not letting that match go. That was like 2 weeks ago. I'm not letting that go. That match was terrible. It made no sense. But ever since coming back into wrestling and getting into AEW and then New Japan and then ROH and all that, the pay-per-views for AEW have always been like shaky when I think about them because I'm like, oh, they're week to week. The second I'm over with that pay-per-view, I'm like, I have no doubts about AEW. I am okay. I love this. So Dynasty had like 10 matches, probably way too many matches, but I was so enthralled. I didn't care about those 10 matches. That 4 hours I went through so smoothly. The Will Ospreay Danielson match may be the best match I've ever watched. I'd have to rewatch some of my other favorite singles matches that come strangely out of AEW, right? But that Swerve Strickland moment, it's literally taking lightning in a bottle and going, I am actually going to use this. Instead of like, oh, lightning just struck in this bottle and then just like throwing it and then just like, all right.
It's on fire.
they saw like to think that Swerve is an over babyface champion when this run started with him cutting a promo on a baby of his opponent whose house he just broke into doesn't make any sense at all. But it's still, I shed a literal manly tear when that 3 count went through because I was just so happy for him. He did so much. He was at NXT. He did okay. Got moved to the main roster. Did nothing. Got fired. Went over to AEW. Everybody's like, oh, he's going to be another guy lost in the shuffle. He kind of did for a while and then just said, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to bitch. I'm not going to moan. I'm going to do what I'm asked to do. And look at him now. He's on top of the world, AEW
Yep.
World Champion, in a phenomenal 5-star match with Joe. Joe, by the way, too, I want to highlight him because I don't want people to forget how
Yes.
good his reign was.
Yeah.
For a transitional title reign, he had phenomenal matches on the weekly television program.
Yep.
Had a great defense at Revolution in a triple threat match with the uprising star in Swerve and one of the biggest stars in Hangman Adam Page. He, like, whenever he was on screen, you never thought, why is he his world champion? No, he would come out in the suit, whether he was in the suit, his jeans, or anything. He held the title, he had his head up, and he said, I'm going to hurt you when we get in this ring. And there was just, I think you could give Joe that same energy that WWE gave Brock Lesnar, where it's like, hey, we kind of need a champion, or we need a strong guy for insert babyface to get over. You can just throw Joe
him
in
in
there.
there.
I think he'll be perfect every time. I think they've done perfect building for Swerve because, again, technically he's the bad guy because technically he's still the leader of a heel faction.
Yep.
And he still cut a promo on a man's baby, and that is the funniest thing I think I can say about it. So Swerve got perfectly set up to be the good guy.
Yep.
But technically he should. I'm so excited.
But
to
the
see what they do.
anti-hero almost.
Kind of, really, because like you can't make him go out there and do John Cena BS lines, right? Because
Right.
nobody would believe that anyways, right?
No.
For what Swerve is, but
Definitely.
because when Adam Page does come back, I don't know what they do with him. I think they turn him full heel because he was kind of already going nuts before he took his little vacation. So
Yeah.
I think you just full send heel him and then give anti-hero Swerve, a little baby face leaning on that side. But I
Okay.
think he's one of the wrestlers right now that does it so well. I hate the word tweeters because it just sounds stupid.
Yeah.
Where you can literally the only other person that's as good is Ilya Dragunov on NXT, where whoever's on his other side, he's the good guy or
Right.
the bad guy.
Bad
Because
guy.
when he fought Trick Williams, they booed Ilya and they cheered Trick. But when he
Yep.
fought Baron Corbin, the pay-per-view before that, they cheered Ilya and booed
Booed.
Corbin. So they're so good at just holding the in-between where it's like, who's my opponent? Okay, I'll do
I'll
this
play off
a
of
little
that.
more. I'll do this little bit more.
Right.
And it never feels disingenuous, and it never feels like the character is starting to lose its identity. It always just feels like, Swerve's like, oh, you're fighting a bad guy. Okay. He's still a bitch. I don't care. Like it fits the character.
Right. 100%.
So I'm so happy to see Swerve win that world title. It's probably one of my favorite moments of the year. Cody's story finish was up there.
Yep.
I think Swerve might be right there, right next to it.
Yeah,
just
right with
'cause
him.
You can, as wrestling fans, we all know, especially under that Vince McMahon era, we in a heartbeat can see somebody go all the way up and lose at the
Lose
last
it
minute.
all.
And you just
Yep.
go, oh, and then he's back in the mid card, and then you'll never see the world title in the picture again. I love that AEW's taking their leaps. They're listening to the people.
Yep. I was
They
gonna say
are
that. They listen to the fans.
they are a little too focused on what on all of the fans. I think you should just look at, like, I'm not saying ignore the criticisms.
No, your
but-
core fans though.
Yeah, but you don't always have to reply to that guy saying, Triple H better. You don't always have to.
Of course.
I understand replying, but you don't always have to do that. But
Exactly.
Dynasty, this is because people already call this a post-Dynasty era because
Yeah.
we've got Will Ospreay going up, we've got Swerve Strickland up as world champion.
Yep.
I'm excited to see where this goes.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, we don't have another 2 weeks like we had before Dynasty, because those don't. When I tell you, I was heartbroken when you guys said you're starting to watch around that time because those episodes,
So bad. Right.
Bro.
like it
was
seemed
so
like such
bad.
an anomaly. Like, oh, what is Dynamite these weeks?
Right,
These
right,
kind
right.
of stuff. And then the week before was all right, and then Dynasty, I'm excited for Wednesday. I heard Kenny Omega's supposed to be there. I'm gonna scream on the timeline if he's there because that's my guy right. That's my boy right there. That's the number one on my list. If he's back, I'm screaming. I'm running around the house naked a little bit.
So RJ is loving AEW. I love it. Dirty Dan,
Love
how did you feel about Swerve Strickland? And we can start to wrap it up from there.
I just think representation is important.
I agree too.
Facts.
So to have a black champion, a minority,
Yeah.
First,
is very,
First
very
black champion.
important. This is why it hit him so hard. He takes pride in that.
Yep.
And he puts in all the work. So at the end of the day, he deserved it. He got, because for real, WWE should never got rid of him in the first place. He was the best person out of that whole little faction they kept together for a little while. And then, I mean, he went on to do big things. So
It worked out in his favor. Mhm,
At
it
the
worked
end
out
of
in
the
his
day, he
favor.
did what he had to do. I hope to keep him champion for a while because, like I said, representation is important, and he takes that seriously. Unfortunately, WWE doesn't take that as seriously as they should.
No.
Especially-
At times.
Whether it's purpose or not, it's whatever. But
Mhm.
they don't do that properly.
Mm.
Technically, now they did it in a sense, having a Puerto Rican at least a champion.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like
It's
Well,
getting
we-
better, but we're still
we
working.
talking
better.
about a vanilla Puerto Rican too. No, let's not get it
yeah,
fucked
I
up.
know, he's
We ain't,
yeah,
talk, we ain't talking like Eddie Guerrero. I know Eddie Guerrero's not Puerto Rican, but regardless, we ain't talking about like Eddie Guerrero type of, you know, we talking about, yeah. I mean, we talking about, you know, a lighter version here, but it still works.
Perfect representation.
I
yes.
agree.
It's
I
not
agree.
like- no offense to Big E or nothing like that, but he's not like the jokey. This is a street motherfucker.
Yep. He gives me
Big E,
Killmonger
Kofi.
vibes.
You
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Killmonger vibes. So yeah, I'm actually really happy to see him champion. I think we all are. We all kind of agree. Any last thoughts that we want to wrap up? Any more AEW conversations? I know. Yep. Go ahead, RJ. One more time. Go ahead.
I just want to shout out the ref. I don't remember his name. I'm so sorry. He was actually the ref that did the match for Swerve when he won the North American title back in NXT. So that's kind of cool. But also, they said on commentary this was his first time being the officiant for a main event in AEW, and what a great first time to be in the main event for it. So we had the first time for a black referee and the first black AEW World Champion. I think it all just came together. And I think, I don't think they did that on purpose, but I think it's just a happy circumstance. It's like, oh, you've never done the main event before? Get them in there. And that's one of those things where, like you said, representation is very important. I think it's very important because not just building the future, but just for the future to have something to look up to and be inspired by. And to have that moment for them was just it was so great to see.
I would say just touching, and to wrap it up on this too, touching on representation, I think WWE recognizes that they sucked at that, because, you know, to be honest, I've been seeing a lot more of like Jade Cargill on there, Bianca Belair, you know, all of them. We talk about Nia Jax a lot, you know, all these women of color have been getting a lot of, you know, play and a lot of recognition. So I think that they're starting to get there. And of course, with WWE moving away from SmackDown would be on USA, right? And then Raw would be on Netflix, probably. That's the way it should be, right? That's not like set in stone, but that's how it should be. You know, I think these women of color are going to be on the front screen TV. And then, of course, if you want to watch AEW, you got that as well. Now, it might not be women of color, but a man of color. So, you know, I think we're starting to get a little bit more of that. And like RJ said, less about the youth. That's also important, because I know I have a friend, I showed Meech, that her daughter is a wrestler. She's young and black, you know, she's like 13, 14, 15, around that age. She's coming up and she's wrestling. She has a whole thing going on behind her. So it's important for her to see these females and these males do it. So there is a younger generation, and especially, again, just not get too deep, but, you know, especially the kids in the ghettos and the hoods, show like, look, it's not just basketball and football. There is wrestling, and wrestling, especially in Pennsylvania, is huge. I mean, if you wrestle in PA, you are that guy.
Quick shout out.
Yeah, go ahead. What?
No, I said give them a quick shout out.
Oh, I mean, there's so many wrestlers in here. I mean, in Pennsylvania. I mean, I'm talking about just period. I'm not talking about just kids. I'm talking about wrestlers that come from Pennsylvania, period. I mean, the list goes on. Bo Nickel is taking over the UFC, and he did in Penn State. So, you know, just watching people wrestle and like you said, having that representation is super important, especially for young black kids, but, you know, kids of all colors, but especially us. Go ahead, RJ.
Also, I'm sorry, I don't mean to go back to it, but
No,
also
you're
shout Willow Nightingale. She also won on Dynasty. She's I think she's half black, half white, so mixed champion. But also, she's a bit bigger of a woman. I like to see that in my wrestling.
Me too.
Because she, like, amazing wrestler, really good. I love her personality. I love her wrestling style, and I think I love to see, like, not just skin color thing, but also body
plus size.
Because she's an amazing wrestler. But, you know, when most of the wrestling fans grow up on models being divas instead of, you know, women's wrestlers,
go.
There's different body types. So I also wanted to give her a shout too, because also the black representation, but also, you know, plus size representation, that too. Because I love Willow. I was so happy for her when she won that belt too.
Yes,
that's amazing.
I can't wait. I hope she has a phenomenal run.
Amazing call on that. Amazing call. Well, amazing show, boys. Thank y'all so much. And thank you to all the listeners. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, everybody, for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment. If you're listening on Spotify or anywhere else, please give it a thumbs up and rate us 5 stars. It's your boy JD. Go ahead, Michi Black. You can say goodbye.
Oh, yes, sir. It's your boy, Michi Black. Thank you again for coming to another episode of Thru The Ropes.
Dirty Dan, go ahead and say your goodbyes.
Even though I'm the final heater, appreciate all the support.
Most definitely.
And main event, RJ.
I appreciate you all watching. Remember, those 5 stars are very important, but it's also very important to remember #Gable did nothing wrong.
nothing wrong.
Not a thing wrong.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Until next time, everybody.